Welcome back, YouTube. Espresso Shucko here, and today we are talking about Iron Valiant, the last member of Violet's Paradox Mons, and the final Paradox Mon that is currently eligible for Series 2, which means I might actually have to do some battles sooner rather than later. We are the futuristic form of both Gardevoir and Gallade. We got some polymerization stuff going on there, because you know what? We go with Ralts, then we go Curlia, we split to Gardevoir and Gallade, and finally we rejoin to make Iron Valiant. So Iron Valiant takes the traits of both Gardevoir and Gallade, drops the psychic typing, and becomes a fairy fighting type. Now, you're gonna see all three of their types directly underneath me. Unfortunately, none of them have much going on for them defensively. Iron Valiant does have the best kind of combination as far as defenses go. So we have an immunity to Dragon, we have the 4 times resistance to both Bug and Dark, we have the regular resistance to Fighting and Rock, and then unfortunately we do have those 5 weaknesses to Fairy, Flying, Poison, Psychic, and Steel. So, Terastallize. Terastallization is probably the best way of getting rid of that here, but hey, it's still better than Gardevoir, who's got the immunity to Dragon, the 4 times resistance to Fighting, the 1 resistance to Psychic, and then the weaknesses to Ghost, Poison, and Steel, or Gallade, who has the resistances to Fighting and Rock, and then 3 weaknesses to Fairy, Flying, and Ghost. So, definitely Terastallize. And you know, as a side note for the other two, they're definitely good Terastallization candidates as well, but hey, we're not talking about the past, we're talking about the future. So let's dive into Iron Valiant. We are the second of the 2 Paradox Mons that have more than 570 stats total, and this means we are a 590 base stat total Mon, which is really nice for these. We have a breakdown of 74 HP, 130 attack, 90 defense, 120 special attack, 60 special defense, and 116 speed. Iron Valiant can go either physical or special, or it could even go mixed. And normally too, when you want to run like a mixed mon, you kind of have to cut one of your defenses to either boost either an attack stat or your speed stat. That 60 special defense, while it is really low and normally not a good thing, there's your candidate right there. The naive nature for speed, or maybe say the naughty for attack, and I don't even know what it is for the special attack. What boosts special attack that lowers special defense? I never look at this, so it's learning time. Rash. It's rash. So you can go rash, you can go naughty, you can go naive if you want to go for a mix set. That said, I kind of prefer to go one way or the other, so these sets here we're going to be having either a physical set or a special set, but you can take bits and pieces from either of these and go from there. Before we jump into my movesets though, like I said in the Roaring Moon video, in case you watched that, we're going to take a look at Peak Analytics and take a look at Iron Valiant. So currently right now, this is ranked 41 for the month of February on console usage. Yeah, a little bit hard to get out of me here, but anyways. What are people running right now? Well, people are running Close Combat, they're running Protect, they're running Spirit Break. Spirit Break, just want to make a really quick note on to highlight it. Before Iron Valiant existed, this was only learned by Grimmsnarl, so it's kind of nice to see. It's a physical fairy type move, 75 power, guaranteed special attack drop on the target, which is really nice. It's basically a physical version of Mystical Fire, and because it's a fairy type move, it naturally gains stab for Iron Valiant and Grimmsnarl, so you know, it's a nasty move. It's also going to be very fun on physical Iron Valiant. We have Moonblast here, which is a great special attacking attack, obviously. It's a great special attack move. There we go, that was phrased a little bit better. We have Wide Guard, nice little tech here. Unfortunately, I prefer my Iron Valiant ideas to be wall breakers, so while I don't have this on anything, definitely good for you guys to know. We have Shadow Sneak, which is a nice move here, because, you know, priority moves still can pick off weakened targets. We have Aura Sphere, which basically is a weaker powered Focus Blast, but it can't miss. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just better Focus Blast. We have Dazzling Gleam for some spread fairy damage, and then we have Destiny Knot or Destiny Bond, not Destiny Knot. You need Destiny Knot for breeding. You don't need that. Destiny Bond. You know, you could take your opponent down with you if you play it right. And finally, we have Knockoff, great utility Dark type move to remove items. As far as teammates go for what people are currently using, we have Iron Bundle, we have Iron Hands, Fluttermane, Roaring Moon, King Gambit, Amoonguss, Golden Go, Iron Moth, Armor Rouge, and Murkrow. In terms of terrestrialization options here, we have Fairy. Makes sense because, you know, we have Moonblast on a special attacking set. We have Spirit Break on the physical set. We get our double stab on the Fairy type option if we go with that. We have Steel, great defensive typing here. The only thing is, you do have to be careful with Steel because of Salt Cure on Garganacles. Ghost, great option there because it makes you immune to Fake Out. We have Fighting. Again, you get double stab that way, especially on close combat or say Aura Sphere. We have Fire, which is really nice for the physical set because we can't be burned. We have Electric, which is also not a bad idea for either set because now you can't be paralyzed. You don't have to worry about speed drops. We have Water, and we have Poison. Poison could be nice because it could give you a niche on opposing fairy types. We have Dark. You don't have to worry about being statused by Prankster, Thunder Waves, or any other Prankster status move for that matter. We have Ground. Ground could be interesting too because, you know, you could use it to hit Steel types, but you have your natural Fighting type stab for that. In terms of items, people are running Focus Sash and Booster Energy as the top two items. We have Life Orb and Choice Scarf. Covert Cloak. Covert Cloak is pretty handy because, you know, you don't have to worry about Fake Out causing you flinching. And then that way, that also frees you up from having to use Terra Ghost to avoid Fake Outs. The Assault Vest to try to patch up the special defense stat. Definitely not going to be used on mixed attacking sets, that's for sure. We have Clear Amulet to protect our stats from being lowered. Choice Specs. It's Safety Goggles. Choice Specs is really nice because, you know, guaranteed boost to your special type attacks. Safety Goggles prevents you from being spored, which is nice. And then Expert Belt, because, you know, you get a little bit of extra damage on super effective hits. An Expert Belt could be really, really nice, but we'll touch on that a little bit later when we get into some of the move breakdowns for what I have. So on that note, set number one I was thinking of is we can use either a Focus Sash set for a Swords Dance / Booster Energy. Originally I was thinking Booster Energy to get a speed boost, but because Iron Valiant is a glass cannon, Focus Sash might be the safer option there. Keeps you alive with 1 HP. You can go with your Swords Dance here to get +2 into your attack. You can go for Spirit Break off of Terra Fairy. That could be really scary because, you know, you're already a massive attack stat at 182. You go up to +2, so now that's multiplying that to over 300 points of damage because, you know, we're looking at a big number here because, you know, let's actually do the math on here, and it's early in the morning, so I'm struggling already, but hey, 182 multiplied by 2, you guys can't see this calculator, but hey, we're at 364. That's a big number right there for one little boost. We're at 364 with that Swords Dance here. We have the Spirit Break. If we go Terra Fairy, we're at a base 150 physical fairy type attack that's guaranteed to lower the special attack. So basically what I'm getting at here is if they somehow live it, they have the unfortunate pleasure of having their special attack lowered in addition to taking a huge chunk of their HP. And we got Shadow Sneak on here to basically give us a chance in case we get worn down to our Focus Sash, and a quick chance to take something out before we potentially get taken out. But if you want to live on the edge here, you could swap Shadow Sneak out for close combat to just take advantage of the fact that you're getting a big amount of boosts here off your Swords Dance. You could even go maybe Terra Fairy, or not Terra Fairy, sorry, Terra Fighting. So now you get double your stab on close combat. Now you're at 240 with that 364 attack. That's disgusting. You could also just straight up take Spirit Break out and put Shadow Sneak there if you want that instead. Iron Valiant does get a couple of different options for physical moves. It gets Leaf Blade, it gets Liquidation, both of which are solid. Grass and water coverage. We have Fire Punch. Let's see, just off the top of our head, we have Ice Punch, we have Knockoff, we have Low Kick. Great options all across the board. We have Shadow Claw too. It's got really good options. Now, let's jump into a choice band set. So, we have Spirit Break, we have Close Combat, we have Knockoff, and we have Shadow Sneak. Now, this, eventually, when I get around to the choice spec set, this is going to be really nice to take a look at. So, if we jump into PokemonDB.net, we have Fairy, we have Fighting, and we have Dark. Wow. One not very effective. What is it? Galarian Wheezing. Yeah, you can justify throwing Shadow Sneak on there, and technically you do hit that for neutral, but what I was mainly thinking here is we can go either Terra for any of these four, and as you guys saw with Spirit Break, Close Combat, and Knockoff, with those just entered in, Galarian Weezing's the only thing that resists that combination. So you could go Terra Fairy for double your Fairy Stab, you can go Terra Fighting for double your Fighting type stab, you can go Terra Dark to give yourself Dark type stab. You could also keep the Shadow Sneak in case you're coming in at the end and you know your opponent has something faster and maybe something frailer, or even just something that's been weakened off. You can go for the Shadow Sneak. Or if you want, you could run Fire Punch. And now you don't have to worry about being burned. You get stab on your fire. You can go like Terra Fire. That's what I meant to say first before putting Fire Punch. Fire Punch, if only Fire Punch just gave you full immunity to burns. But no, I meant like you run Fire Punch, then put Terra Fire on it. But anyways, I digress. You could do something like that for a Choice Bandit set. Naturally, the EVs on both this and the Focus Sash are the same. We have 252 in the attack stat, 252 into the speed stat. And the nice thing here with Iron Valiant and a Jolly Nature is you naturally gain 2 points with max investment over your max attack investment. This thing isn't like, say, something like, say, Roaring Moon or Sandy Shocks. If you want that speed boost, you have to sacrifice a little bit of investment into your offensive stat. No. Iron Valiant, just the numbers work out just nicely that you can get that speed boost off of your Quark Drive without needing to lower your offensive stats, which is really, really nice. And because the special attack is slightly lower than the attack stat, it's a guaranteed they're going to get your speed. So that's what I was thinking for both the Choice Band and the Sword Stance sets. Let's take a look on the special side. Now, Iron Valiant, unfortunately, does not get access to Nasty Plot. It does get access to Calm Mind, but what I was thinking here is we can just go for a Life Orb, because in the time that it takes us to set up a Calm Mind, while we do get a special defense and special attack boost, it's not quite as explosive as, say, the Sword Stance. So I was thinking we could just go for a straight Life Orb, and we could run, say, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Aura Sphere. And case in point, if we go Fairy, Fighting, and Ghost, bada bing. Already right out of the gate. 0 not very effectives, 565 normal effectives, and 627 super effectives, which is really nice. You know, it's just that nice combination here. Originally, I was thinking, like, say, maybe Thunderbolt or something like that, maybe Energy Ball, but Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere, and Moonblast, it just works out to be a really nice combination. And you know what? With your Terra options, you can go either Fairy or Fighting. If you go Fighting, the really tempting thing about Aura Sphere is it does not care about accuracy, and unlike, say, other accuracy bypassing moves, Aura Sphere has base 80 power, which is kind of high compared to those moves, because the closest thing I think we have to that is Smart Strike, which is 70 steel. Grimmsnarl gets one too, which is False Surrender, but which I think that's high, but I think that's also because False Surrender is exclusive to the Grimmsnarl line. Let's just take a quick look at that. False Surrender. Yeah, it's only exclusive to the Grimmsnarl line. It's also physical. Okay, and False Surrender is actually the same power as Aura Sphere. But hey, there you go. It doesn't get False Surrender. It doesn't steal all of Grimmsnarl's signature moves, but it does get that Spirit Break. Anyways, back to the special set. We have Aura Sphere here. Like I said, it's higher than most accuracy bypassing moves, like Aerial Ace is base 60, Smart Strike is base 70, and then we have Aura Sphere, which is like tied with False Surrender, base power-wise. So yeah, you could go Terastallize into a fighting type, go up to 160. You don't have to worry about accuracy. Your opponent's running Minimize. They're running Double Team. You don't care about that. Because, gone are the days of Dynamax where Dynamax would just bypass evasion and just hit regardless with a max move. Now you gotta worry potentially about evasion and stuff like that. So, hey, there you go. There's your Aura Sphere. There's your answer to that. You're welcome. It's not like Haze is running around, but hey, anyways. Oh, we want that back there. And yeah, so anyways, we could go Terra Ghost as well to gain stab on Shadow Ball if we wanted to. Or we could just go Terra Fairy to gain stab, or gain further stab on our Moonblast. Go for a 95. Basically, we'd be up to a base 190 Fairy type move. So you could do that with a Life Orb. You could also do the same thing with Choice Specs. And the main difference here between the Choice Spec set and the Life Orb is for our fourth move, we have Psyshock. So basically here, this is your way of getting around the special walls, like say Chansey or Blissey, because you hit them on the defense stat instead of the special defense stat. That's the biggest thing I really have to say about that, because you guys already saw what the first three did. Psyshock, we're just adding in a little extra coverage, and there you go. We're hitting a lot of things for super effective damage. That's basically it for the Choice Spec set. I kind of already said everything I wanted to with the Life Orb set. Same three Terra types apply here. You could go Psychic if you want to with Psyshock, especially if you want to say like run Indeedee regardless of whether it's male or female, get Psychic Terrain and get further damage on your Psyshock. You could do that too. Now, you might be wondering through the course of this video, why is there a Kilowattrel on here? It's not because I like the bird, it's because the bird also gets electric terrain. So, I mentioned it with Roaring Moon about, like, say, using, like, a prankster Sunny Day user to set Sun for that. Unfortunately, the only prankster, and there is one, that gets electric terrain is not in the game because that's Thunderous. So, you could go Kilowattrel because you do have that 125 speed. You could go for a really quick electric terrain, and now, basically, this applies to any of these four Iron Valiants I've been talking about. You get your electric terrain up, they all get a speed boost. And now they're getting scary. And that's also why you could justify not necessarily running booster energy on them, because you could go for that. Other electric terrain users, you could go Iron Treads. Iron Treads is slightly slower than Iron Valiant, but Iron Treads does get electric terrain. But there is one sleeper pick. The fastest thing that's currently in the game who gets electric terrain and is the fastest thing in general until Regieleki comes back is Electrode. Electrode does get electric terrain, and it's a base 150 speed mod. So, we go 252, we go Timid, switch this to 50. You could maybe use Electrode with some of these futuristic Paradox Mons in general. Go for the electric terrain, activate their Quark drives, and go from there. Also, I'm pretty sure it could be fun to see if Hisui and Electrode gets it too. So let's just take a quick look at that, because you never know. Eventually, the Pokemon Home update's going to come, so eventually we will get access to our Hisui and Electrode. Do you get electric terrain? Pretty sure you do. Yes, you do. There you go. Just some food for thought there, guys. Both Electrode and Hisui and Electrode, or Kilowattrel. They could be good support for Iron Valiant and any of the future Paradox Mons in general. So on that happy note, that's where I'm going to leave off on this. Have fun. Enjoy. I really like talking about these Paradox Mons in general. The Beasts of Ruin, the Ruinous Treasures, they're not available, but they're probably going to be the next things that are available with another format update. Like when Series 3 comes out, that's probably what we're looking at. So maybe I'll talk about those. There's a couple of other Pokemon that I've been looking to talk about as well that I just kind of passed over to talk about the Paradox Mons when Series 2 came out. So we might talk about those. And hey, battles. I can always do battles too. So anyways, you guys have been awesome. I will see you next time. Not sure what we're doing quite yet, but I digress. I will see you next time.